Hello and welcome back, everybody. My name is Gabe. I'm joined by Chris and Nick, who isn't wearing any pants, and this is Unstable Opinions.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
Yeah, I was going to say, way to throw Nick under the bus.
I mean, I felt like if we were going to know, the audience had the right to know as well.
I mean, I can't even tell. He's got a giant stuffed dog on top of him right now. I can't tell whether he's wearing pants or not.
I saw before he put that on.
Well, I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. He just lifted up the dog leg. Anyway.
I cannot confirm nor deny that Tyler Tran is in the room.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, Tyler Tran isn't here this episode, but we don't have any way to prove that.
Yeah.
So.
What are you talking about? He's right here. He's in my heart.
We don't have any way to
He's
prove
not.
it in our hearts and minds. Anyway, welcome back to the Unstable Opinions podcast. If you're new here, Gabe already introduced us, but we didn't really. So the one with the no pants on is Nick. I'm Chris.
And I'm Gabe.
And
I do have pants on.
we're gonna talk about. We're gonna go back to our original format today. I did notice we did our best of the decade last. Well, I mean.
We recorded it
at the beginning of January, and then just Nick stalled.
It's been a while for us.
So
you guys just got a new episode.
Yeah.
Pretty recently.
But I did notice that in the last episode, because usually the format of this is we talk about news, we go around and say what we've been playing or watching, and then we get into the review. I'm kind of glad that we skipped over this last time. We didn't talk about what we were individually like playing or watching last time, and that was honestly like I didn't even intend for that, but it was for the better because that episode's 2.5 hours long.
That's why I didn't want to edit it.
So hopefully today will be a little bit more concise, but
it took like a month.
We're gonna go over some news, and then we're gonna talk about what we've been playing and watching since last time, and then this episode is gonna be a review of The Mandalorian, which ended. We're a little bit late on because it ended a while back. I think it ended in December, right?
Right before
Season 1.
Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, no. The last episode was afterwards.
Oh yeah, they gave us a sneak peek in episode 7 and right after.
Yes. Okay.
Because that was like the 2 weeks of Star Wars.
We're not getting into spoiler stuff yet. But I don't think we're gonna go episode by episode. We're just gonna talk about our thoughts on the whole thing, just as a whole. But before we get into that, let's talk about some news. First item on the list, the trailer for the new Minions movie came out.
So disgusting.
No.
I loved it.
All right, I had some thoughts.
I feel like you looked at me while I was building up to revealing that was what we were going to talk about, and you were already disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed.
Like you were anticipating it
I
being
was
something
hoping that it was just something else, and I knew what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
And then once you said trailer of, and then I'm like, there's nothing
God
else you could
damn
talk about. So my thoughts are this. It's a movie made for the Nicks of the world.
Oh yeah.
Not if your name
movie.
is Nick, but if you are like our Nick.
And your favorite movie of 2013 is
Baby
Despicable Me Too.
I think that they're just missing an opportunity here by not giving Baby Gru adult Gru's voice.
Oh yeah.
That would be comedy gold.
Yeah, you said. Yeah, I remember you saying
That was
so
just
funny.
my first thought into the trailer, and the only thought.
Yeah, why doesn't 5-year-old Gru speak like? Because I was saying like Steve Carell in these things. It just sounds every single movie. It sounds like he's straining his voice more and more. Because like he just got more in character as the movies went on, and then like the third one, it's like his twin brother who has like a higher pitched voice, and then Baby Gru in this has an even higher pitched voice than that.
I mean, I'm sure he's okay with it. He likes doing voices.
I just hope he's just doing the normal voice, and they're like making it higher pitched in post.
Yeah, exactly.
Who gave Illumination the green light to make a 5th movie?
The box office numbers. Can you imagine, like, I don't even know what Illumination's parent company is. Probably Universal.
But
I don't know.
So.
But can you imagine them looking at the $1 billion Minions box office and being like, okay, yeah, I think it's a good idea to end it there. I think the Minions saga has had its run.
No, they're gonna make an entire cinematic universe, and I don't want it.
I mean, they're on the 5th movie, like you said.
That is a cinematic.
The cinematic universe is already in motion.
They have
Stop
prequels
it,
and
Stop it.
sequels, and
Yeah.
they're gonna start writing like.
Next thing you know, we're gonna find out that
Spin-offs.
like the
The
Secret Life
Goros
of
are
Pets
villains.
takes place in the same universe.
Holy
and, like,
crap!
Agnes is gonna adopt one of the pets or whatever. I don't know.
Secret Life of Girls.
The Secret Life of the Girls.
Goals.
Oh god. Anyway, in case it wasn't clear, I think the movie looks terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks awful. I'm gonna watch it. It looks awful.
I know
We're
you will.
reviewing it.
Well,
Yeah.
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 You know what?
probably.
You're probably gonna
Look, if
like
we-
rope us into that.
no, if we are supposed to review for the people, we have to see both good and bad.
We have to do a Minions marathon. We have to watch all 5 movies.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't
On
be for the people.
second thought, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just quit while we're ahead.
It was pretty good. Nick can do intros, I guess.
Yeah. Nick can just pretend to be you.
I guess so.
Yo, what's up? My name's Gabe. I'm not wearing pants, but I'm gonna tell everyone that Nick's not wearing pants.
I don't like your jokes.
I don't appreciate.
I'll give it
your
a
tone.
3 out of 10.
Look at your
Anyway.
face, a
Not
1
very
out of 10.
original.
But I don't know. I'm not looking forward to the movie, but we're probably gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
And
move
we're gonna
on.
be part of the problem. Anyway, moving on. Sam
Minions.
Raimi is currently in talks to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness,
Spider-Man in the MCU.
which is the first thing I saw after the announcement was made was a Boss Logic made poster of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man's arm coming through a Doctor Strange portal, and I was like, oh, I would love that, but I feel like it's even less likely now that Sam Raimi's directing it because he doesn't want to like flaunt his own
Yeah, he
Marvel
would not want to
history.
do that.
Because I remember like when Steven Spielberg was directing Ready Player One, he said like I didn't want to put references to my own movies in it because he didn't want to seem like he was like flaunting his own directing history. So I feel like it might be the same thing with Sam Raimi. I don't even know if they would have done it in the first place.
Yeah,
But
unless like someone up top wanted
Yeah.
something to be hinted at.
because I have a
no
feeling
one-
like Kevin Feige would be like, yeah, dude, that's
he would be the guy that would
agree.
issue that to
Yeah.
happen. But I don't think Sam Raimi wouldn't do it on his own.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm the most interested with this is that outside of the Spider-Man movies, Sam Raimi has mostly been a horror director. And Scott Derrickson left the project recently due to creative differences, and everyone's basically been assuming that that's because he wanted to make the movie scary because he's also a horror director, and they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him make it as scary as he wanted it to be. So bringing on Sam Raimi is an interesting choice, mostly because if they separated with Scott Derrickson as
Yeah.
director because he wanted to make
They'd
it too
probably
scary,
run into the
then
same issue with
yeah,
Sam
exactly.
Raimi.
If Sam Raimi wants to take it further and they don't let him, then he might end up leaving the project too, and
Yeah.
then it would just be a waste.
And
See,
they
but
should just
now-
learn to let
But
them
now, if you think
do it.
about it, the creative differences might be because they want so many TV shows to tie into Doctor Strange
Mhm.
that the directors can't handle it.
Oh, you mean
Because
like the
Loki-
sort of thing where like
And WandaVision are supposed to go right into
Yeah, they
Doctor
are.
Strange.
They are doing that.
yeah. But I feel like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not anywhere near qualified to make a judgment on this, but I feel like throwing in Easter eggs to connect it to other things, like if it's a heavy part of the story, then continuity does become an issue.
Yeah, I
But
think
if it's
both
just
those
Easter
will be
eggs to
heavy
connect them
part.
to the other stuff, then that doesn't take that much time, you know?
The thing is, we just don't know.
We don't
yet.
know.
We don't-
They're,
yeah, we
they're
don't know.
obviously not going to
Yeah,
say.
because
what's
really
gonna,
all we know about this movie is the title.
Yeah.
So, like, we know it has to do with the multiverse, but we don't know how extensive it's going to be, if it's just going to be a bunch of weird alternate dimensions, or if it is going to tie into other Marvel dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu
So-
Reeves Wolverine.
Yeah.
And, like, people are saying, like, the multiverse might be how they bring in the X-Men, but
I feel like
that would be what would happen if they brought in the Fox X-Men, but the Fox X-Men they're kind of been implying that that's done,
Yeah.
and they're just going to redo
I
it.
feel like this is gonna be the sort of like this combined with Thor, Love and Thunder are gonna be like their Avengers movie for this phase because they're not gonna have one.
Yeah, no, they need time to build up a new team, but
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, even though a lot of the newer heroes are still around, it's just Phase 4 is releasing. They have a lot more content, but they're releasing it in a shorter amount of time. So I feel like it still won't feel like that long until they make another team up movie, which probably won't be an Avengers movie.
Young Avengers.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, but
Please.
they have plenty of time to build it up, and I just hope that with Sam Raimi, if he is actually on board to direct this movie, that if he has some cool ideas for it, they'll actually let him pursue it and not fire him over it.
We'll find out probably more details like much later about
'cause they
why
haven't
there were
even started,
differences, what the connections will be to the shows.
Once
but
the movie is out and Scott Derrickson isn't on like a NDA or anything anymore, like he'll probably talk about it in interviews.
I just hope that it ends up being, the scary movie that they wanted it to be. At least
and if nothing
to some
else,
degree.
if not an actual horror movie, at least like have a creepy atmosphere or something.
Like a thriller kind of.
Yeah.
thing. No, it doesn't have to be a.
Because
a
Doctor Strange
scary
1
movie.
even had hints of that with like all the stuff with him, like I don't even know what you would call it, just all the psychedelic imagery, that sort of thing. There wasn't a lot of it, but it was like you got hints that would be a direction they could take it in.
I mean, Dormammu was kind of terrifying until he was put into that
time loop
and then bargained for a couple of millennia.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
All right. So, next thing. This is a little bit of a weird topic because we were talking about this before we started recording. The Oscars are in 2 days from when we're recording this. So we don't know the results of any of the awards yet, but I just wanted to briefly go over the Best Picture nominations and our thoughts on them. So this year the nominations are Ford versus Ferrari.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I feel like that's a lot of nominations. I don't know whether it's like...
I feel like that's more than there was last time, because last time we saw them
Probably.
all,
I feel like
too.
there's usually 5.
There was like 6 last time
this
or
is
something,
like...
right?
I think so. This one is like 9 nominations.
I feel like Joker's there, but it's not going to win because it's a comic movie.
Yeah. See, that was the thing, too. This wasn't last year. The year before... I mean, what year was Black Panther nominated for Best Picture?
17? 18?
Well, Black Panther came out in 18.
19.
So...
That was
it had to be
saw
19
it,
then.
We saw it. It was part of that whole
Oh
group that we
yeah,
saw.
okay, yeah. So it was a 19 movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just kind of their way of like. Well, I mean, Joker got nominated for a lot of other Oscars, but I also kind of feel like that's sort of them just throwing a bone to comic book fans, like the people that complain that like comic book movies don't get the same recognition.
Yeah.
Because Joker, I mean, is probably the closest to like an actual like Oscar sort of movie. I guess it's kind of a
From
weird.
all of
It's kind of a weird gray area.
Yeah.
For like what is considered an Oscar movie, but Joker is less about spectacle and action and more about drama. So, out of all of these nominations, I feel like my pick for what I would like to win is probably Jojo Rabbit.
I loved Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you saw it. Did
I
you?
never got the chance to see it.
Oh, you totally
You
should.
really got to.
It's the Regal theaters. I don't know if any other theaters are doing this. They do this thing during the week leading up to the Oscars where they bring all the Best Picture nominations back to theaters.
Yeah, I saw that on the app.
Yeah, we did that last year.
So if you can see Jojo Rabbit, I highly recommend it. I'm a huge Taika Waititi fanboy, and I really loved that movie. And I did get to see a lot of the movies on this list. I think the only ones I haven't seen on this list are Little Women, which I'm actually going to see tomorrow.
You just saw Parasite.
I just saw
today.
Parasite right before we recorded this. That movie was also fantastic.
Well, it has to be up on this list. I'm all these movies are going to be great, or already are great.
But I haven't seen The Irishman. I haven't seen Little Women yet, and I haven't seen Marriage Story. And I've seen, but all the other movies I think are really good. Just Jojo Rabbit for me personally is my favorite. I feel like it's probably not going to win.
It might not, because there's
because there is a heavier focus on comedy in that movie.
Yeah.
Which isn't, that doesn't make it a worse movie. It's just I'm trying to think about how the Academy, like, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea how the process works. People vote for Best Picture that are, like, in the industry, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's how that works.
So
maybe.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I'm so, outside of this whole world. I feel like something about Jojo Rabbit being mostly comedic would probably not make it like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I just feel like it's probably not going to win
It
it,
just
but I would be
seems
very
like-
happy
Yeah,
if
it seems
would,
like
if
the
it did.
more like dramatic, story-driven movies end up
Yeah.
being the ones that they go
Yeah.
for.
Which is why Joker might win. Who knows?
Well, because that's the most like story-driven out of all the comic movies, but these other movies
Yeah.
were really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like they were really like I don't know what the word is for it, because it's not like I can't say like professional,
Yeah.
because they're all professional movies, but it's just, you know,
They just tell good dramatic stories.
yeah.
So, and something I was surprised about too, because I just went to go see Parasite, was that I had no idea what to expect from that movie, and I was surprised that it was actually pretty funny for a lot of it.
That's not what I would expect from.
Yeah, well, not a lot of it. It's not really a comedy, but there are certain parts that are like
Yeah.
funny, and I just didn't expect that out of it. Anyway, yeah, my pick out of those is Jojo Rabbit.
Mhm.
Nick, did you have a preference?
Out of,
I didn't see most of them, so
Yeah.
Well, the one he'd probably say Joker out of, because that's.
Yeah,
that's
I feel like
the
we
one
talk
you
we
see.
talk about Joker almost every podcast since the
we
beginning.
started with Joker.
We
Yeah.
started with Joker. It's never
I
gonna
mean,
stop.
that's
Yeah.
what this podcast fucking deserves.
two weeks after we record this, we're gonna be talking about how Joker won Best Picture. We're like, what? We didn't see that coming. We have to talk
Oh
about
my
it again.
God, let's talk about Joker.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with. I would probably also go with Jojo Rabbit. I really loved the one I saw most recently was Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, I really like that movie
and that I think that would be my second choice
Yeah.
for the nomination if Jojo Rabbit doesn't win.
too. Yeah,
I would love to see it. Like, I'd love to see Jojo Rabbit win, but since it's more comedic, I would not be upset at all if Ford versus Ferrari won.
Yeah, I think my second choice would probably either be. It's hard because I have seen some of these more recently. I think Parasite was very good.
See, you've seen more than any of us have.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Parasite or a few others
Yeah.
that you saw. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mhm.
And what else is on that list? Probably some others that I've seen.
Yeah. I don't think I can narrow it down to a second choice. But anyway, so that's our thoughts on the Oscar stuff. It's not even really gonna matter when this episode goes up, but that's just
Yeah.
what we think about it. And we'll see who wins in a couple days.
I hope it went
in our
well.
time. Yeah.
Hope you had a good time watching that. Did what you wanted to win?
Let us know.
Let us know
in the comments
down below.
Yeah, no one comments. Please comment.
If you comment, Nick will do a backflip next time we record, and you'll hear it.
Yeah, but we can't prove anything.
I mean, we can't.
We
I
can't-
can't confirm
We
or
can
deny that.
we can vouch for him, but we
They
can't
might
prove anything.
hear me like in pain after I break my neck.
Yeah, and then silence.
Just like that.
It will
Anyway,
be like that.
next item on the list, which is the last news item. A ton of games got delayed since last time.
Very
we recorded.
cool.
PewDiePie.
The three I have written down. I think
Oh,
there's
we just had to get
more of these, but Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed to September 17th from April 16th.
Hasn't that game gotten delayed like 15 times?
Yeah,
No,
Not-
it's just been in development for a long time.
yeah, it's been like
They had like
hyped up
I
very
think
much.
they announced it back in like 2013 or something.
Yeah.
That was when they put the first teaser trailer up, and
That's
then
a
they just
long
didn't talk about
time.
it until like 2017.
It's just like a lot of people are anticipating it, even though
Yeah.
they were talking about it,
Yeah.
even knowing full well that it's going to come out
Yeah.
in so long.
Same thing with Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
The remake of that got pushed from March 3rd to April 10th. The Avengers game got pushed from May 15th to September 4th. And outside of even recent delays, Last of Us 2 got delayed, Doom Eternal, that comes out relatively soon, but that got delayed. It was supposed to come out last November. And it was funny, something I heard a lot of people saying was that Animal Crossing was scaring a lot of games into like a later release date. But I think Doom and Animal Crossing come out on the same day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon also comes out on that same day.
Does it?
I think so.
They're going to really split up the people there.
Yeah.
That's like 3 different kinds
Especially-
of...
And Doom and Animal Crossing are like complete opposite games.
Yeah. And then,
Pokemon's
then there's just a
remake that
Pokemon
everyone
game.
wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I feel like there was a week where like just every single day, like another company was announcing that their game was like delayed. Because there's even other games that got delayed that I didn't even talk about. But
Delays just don't bother me as much.
yeah,
I don't...
see. Every time a delay happens, it's always like I'm like disappointed, but I get it because it's like I'd rather have a better game
yeah.
and wait longer for it. But at the same time, it's like I was excited to play it, and now I have to wait longer.
I don't really
I think-
like care as much because I want things to be good. And
Yeah.
every time something's delayed, I'm like, that's just more days I could play Gungeon or something.
Yeah.
See, I think with us, we all have our favorite games. So, like, if a Mario game got delayed, Chris might be more mad than usual.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say mad,
But, like,
I mean,
annoyed.
I would
He
be,
would be
I would
pissed
be,
off,
I would
kicking,
He'd be
kicking down trash
Gabe.
cans.
yeah, you would hear me
kicking both
beating
of
up
us.
Gabe on the podcast,
Yeah.
reading it off of the news thing.
I couldn't even speak anymore.
No.
He just...
I'd just be like, oh, well, it's like Miyamoto said, finish the game. Anyway, that's the last item on the news.
I think there's one more piece of news that me and Nick have to talk about. Which is
PewDiePie, please come back. I can't do this anymore.
PewDiePie went on break, which I am happy for him.
I'm happy for him.
Nick is a bit more upset
But
than I am.
I haven't had anything to watch.
Wasn't he not making videos the whole January?
No, he stopped
He's-
January 15th.
Oh.
He said he was gonna do it as soon as January came, and then he kind of made a few more videos.
Oh, okay.
But then he actually stopped, and I'm hoping having the time of his life.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
Somewhere
he said he was
nice.
traveling. I think he went to Japan.
Probably back to Japan.
That
He
would-
loves it in
Dude, I wanna
Japan.
go to Japan.
He has
Dude,
a house in
I love how
Japan.
PewDiePie's whereabouts are like, like the biggest entertainment nudes up there with like, did I say entertainment nudes?
I heard
Yeah.
nudes, but I knew you
It was just a.
meant to say
Yeah.
news, and I wasn't gonna bring it up. But
But
now
you
you
said
brought
it.
it up, so let's talk about that. Entertainment nudes of PewDiePie.
So I was
Oh,
just saying,
man.
PewDiePie's whereabouts are up there with like the Oscar nominations, like Final Fantasy and Cyberpunk getting delayed. Anyway,
I mean, you know, he's the meme god.
He's just the god.
He is the god.
But I'm happy for him.
I
He
miss him.
he deserves many
deserves
breaks.
a
He,
break.
he deserves like the summer off. He should just have a
You know, this is the
Fall
first,
job.
like, his break right now is the first time he hasn't been uploading daily since, like, 2013.
jeez,
It's
every
insane.
single day.
I cannot
For
imagine
years.
that. I mean, I'm sure he records in bulk, but still. you
No,
know.
he doesn't.
He only records in bulk when he goes on
Like, when he goes on
vacation,
vacation.
so that he
But
can
if
be.
he-
Well, that's what I'm
uploading
saying is that he
daily.
didn't record a video every single day for like 6 years. You know?
Not exactly, but
He,
he's
record-
he
had
might
one
have
up
been
every
recording
day.
for most of that time, but I'm sure he took breaks in between. So
yeah, but I mean, in the end, that much content had to be coming from him at some point. Even with if he takes a day to record 3 videos, that's still like, hours of his time. He's crazy,
yeah,
and I love that man.
Especially since his Minecraft videos, he'd, like, film for maybe 4 hours, and then it'd be a 20-minute video.
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, I feel bad for his editors.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even edit that himself.
And he trashes on his
So-
editors. His editors are great.
Yeah.
They make some videos with him, like playing Golf It or something. And that's that. That's that news.
Yeah, that's all we have to
I'm
talk
like
about.
sitting here waiting for you to be done.
I mean, we could keep going.
I could, but I don't want to.
Because I don't know where this like story ends. I'm just like I'm just
Okay,
along
so
for the
Gabe-
ride. I don't know. I don't watch
Gabe,
PewDiePie. I
what
don't know anything
movies
about
and
him.
Shows and games have you played and watched and all that shit?
Oh, should we start talking about what we've been doing?
What
Like games and what games?
Oh
we've been
yeah, no,
playing?
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're
that's-
moving on to
he's-
games.
Yeah.
He's
and
well,
movies
games and whatever you've been
everything.
playing and watching.
I
That's what
have,
we're moving on to. In case it was unclear by Nick's segue, which I thought was pretty clear, Gabe.
Fuck you.
Hey, Gabe, you want
Anyway.
to say something at the same time?
No, I don't know exactly.
Whenever you guys say something
I
at
know
the
what
same-
you were gonna say.
Whenever you guys
Okay,
say something at the
3,
same time, it always
2,
worries me.
1. Farming.
I was
Hey.
I was gonna say okay, boomer.
And you'll die like him too.
Okay, boomer. Yeah, we've been playing this game called Farming
Farming Simulator.
You
Simulator.
played it once, and it was like last night.
It was
But
2 nights ago.
it was for many hours, and let me tell you, that game takes so long. To
That
do
was the
anything.
most boring Twitch stream I've ever seen.
What are you
Yes,
on
I've
twitch.tv.
started.
/Skater799.
Maybe if I streamed it and you watched me doing everything, it'd be funny because I kept flipping stuff over and Gabe kept getting mad at me.
I kept actually trying to. Play
I was only
the
watching
game.
the stream for like 5 seconds. I just wanted to say something to you in the chat and get a reaction, and then I went to sleep.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
contribute for your friends.
But I'll get to why I couldn't contribute soon. You can continue with your...
Yeah, I've started streaming on Twitch in this little break of time between like the start of January and now, and I've started uploading gaming videos on YouTube, youtube.com/skater799.
I don't think that URL will actually work.
Probably not.
It just
It is
rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the
Skater799.
tongue better than like HTTP.
I'll get a custom URL
It'll
at
be
some
in the
point.
link
Yeah.
down below.
YouTube /current-user.
Yeah,
/
we'll put my Twitch and YouTube down below.
Yeah,
We've
I mean,
been
I
doing
already,
that.
I can make you a link tree, or you can make a link tree. You're smart enough to do that,
He's not smart.
just for all your stuff, and I can just put that
That's
because
pretty
that's
good.
what I do for me. I just have a.
We'll have my link tree down below.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier than having like 5 links for everything. You just have one link, and then
Yeah.
this isn't a sponsored thing for a link tree. It's just useful
But you
anyway.
should use it. Okay. Yeah, and then Farming Simulator, Nick is bad at.
I'm good.
I'm also pretty bad at.
I'm
I found it very
annoying.
no, I found it like so interesting how in depth the game actually is. They have
Yeah.
actual brands of like
I was not expecting you to actually praise this game.
We actually
no,
really
I mean they
enjoyed
put a
playing
lot of work
Yeah.
into the mechanics of this game and the products you can have,
Mhm.
and I'm never really gonna play it again.
Yeah.
it. We
But
still have a farm to create.
okay, I'll play it maybe one more time on
No, you don't.
twitch.tv/skater799.
Just make a farm in Minecraft. In
Yeah, we could.
Skater799's Minecraft series.
But
Minecraft
you
series
can't
on
have a-
youtube.com.
You can't even have
Playing
a
mod pack
truck
right
in
now.
Minecraft.
Well, you can if you're playing
Mods.
modded like I am on Let's Play on Skater799 on YouTube.
You sound like a Raid Shadow Legends ad.
Oh, well, you said
Like they
Raid
say,
Shadow
at the
Legends,
beginning, let's play Raid Shadow Legends.
so- We're not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Okay,
by
Chris,
the
I'm
way.
gonna
I
take
wish
this
we
away
were.
from him. You can talk now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have nothing left to say.
Yeah, he had nothing except Farming Simulator and plugging his YouTube and Twitch.
I was just gonna keep plugging till we
Shut
move
up,
on.
Gabe.
Okay, so I've been playing a lot of video games the last couple weeks, which I've been very happy about because I feel like I haven't been playing a lot recently. Just because I've been really busy and I've been going a lot of different places. But I've been kind of going through some of the games in my backlog that I've been meaning to finish. So in the last couple weeks, I beat Cuphead finally. I beat Ape Escape. I beat Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment. And just a couple days ago, I finally beat The Blob 2, which I need to make a video on because it's super underrated and no one ever talks about it. But I gush about it all the time because I love that game so much, and I finally actually finished it. And then I've also been playing a handful of other games outside of those. Gabe and I earlier
Ooh,
this morning we started playing Knights and Bikes.
that was fun.
Yeah, it just came out on Switch. That game is pretty fun.
If you play it, you should do your own voices for the characters.
I
I think that's the best
If
way
you
to-
want to get a sore throat,
Yeah.
then do what Gabe and I did and just
I got a
give
headache
them
after
like
that.
raspy voices the whole time.
We made Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah,
voice.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the character's dads.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the voice we went with.
that's just one of those things where like we were playing it. I'm like, I wish we were making a video of this.
I'm starting to feel like I wasn't invited to something.
You
well,
weren't.
well, okay, I'm gonna talk about this soon. Well, I mean, okay, so I guess I'll just talk about it now.
Yeah.
But I also played Shovel Knight King of Cards, and I just downloaded Baba Is You. It's like a puzzle game where you play as a sheep.
Papa Yaga.
Yaga.
I'm excited to play that, but I haven't played it yet. Anyways, what I was talking about was Gabe was at my house last night because I finally watched The Dark Knight Rises.
He has
I've-
not seen
I've
The Dark
seen-
Knight Rises.
I've seen Batman Begins and The Dark Knight several times each, but I have never seen The Dark Knight Rises, even though I have the complete trilogy box set and I've had it for months. For some reason, I just never sat down to watch The Dark Knight Rises, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
But Gabe finally decided that he'd had enough of
I
me not
found
seeing
it
The
so
Dark Knight
appalling
Rises.
that when I found this out, that I invited myself over.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we
Made
want to watch
sure-
The Dark Knight Rises tonight?"
Yeah. No, I said we are watching Dark Knight Rises
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, that's why Gabe didn't play Farming Simulator with me last night.
Yeah, because we had a Dark Knight date.
Mm-hmm.
When we were supposed to be farming.
I found it much more entertaining to watch Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It was a great.
I thought that movie was pretty good, and there was a lot of Easter eggs in it. It felt refreshing to like watch an older comic book movie. Like I think Dark Knight Rises came out in like 2012,
Like
and
that.
just be like, oh, like that's that person, or like this is that from whatever. We found the freaking congressman who's on screen for like maybe a minute in total. Also plays Thomas Wayne in Joker,
It's
which is
kinda
really
weird.
weird. Like I was like, wait a minute, like that's Thomas Wayne, and then I was
Like,
like,
Chris
he's
is like,
just
what if someone walks up to him and is like, wait a minute,
aren't you Batman's dad?
Aren't you Mr.
Aren't you Bruce
Wayne?
Wayne's dad? Who's been presumed dead for years?
He's like, not yet.
Yeah. Anyway, and then other than that, I watched Parasite, and Parasite was really good. But I already talked about it a little bit. So Nick, anything?
Question. When did we record the last episode?
January
something.
like 6th.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
so-
the first. It was like the end of the first week of January.
So Crisis didn't end yet, so I can talk about that because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Chris. I'm recording this after the fact. Major spoilers for Crisis on Infinite Earths ahead. We didn't give an actual warning in the podcast itself, so I figured I should probably cut this in beforehand. So if you don't want to know about any of that, just use the timestamps in the description or in the comments to skip ahead.
Ezra Miller was in the CW DC universe.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was
yeah.
whack. That was unexpected. Green Arrow died. I'm depressed.
What the heck? I didn't know that. What if I wanted to watch the show?
Well, the series ended.
The whole series ended.
So?
The entirety of Crisis was based off him dying.
Look, man, I'm not gonna.
I didn't know that.
This one's all on
Were
Nick.
you ever gonna watch it?
You should have at least said spoiler alert. Like even if not for me, if for people
That'll be
watching.
fine.
We'll put a
viewing.
little splash spoiler alert for.
No, I'll just cut the audio and then I'll just put my mouth really close to the mic and be like, spoiler alert.
That's
and then
all
put
your
it back
choice.
in.
Yeah, spoiler alert for Crisis.
But I started
Infinite
watching.
Yeah.
I've never watched any of Supergirl before, like the second half of this season, because Lex Luthor is their main villain, and they got such a good actor for Lex Luthor, and I'm just like, I want to keep watching just because of him.
Yeah. See, I want to watch Daredevil just because of Kingpin.
Oh, I love Daredevil.
Yeah.
I want
still
more,
only
but
got through 2
that's not
episodes.
That's not happening. Maybe Multiverse of Madness. I don't know.
Whoa, they could probably.
Yeah.
You know what?
They can.
I would love that so much. Daredevil was like the only thing I did when it was coming out. I was just like watched Daredevil and then talked about Daredevil.
I watched like the first few episodes of Daredevil and I just wasn't into it.
Same, Chris.
I liked it.
Yeah, I want to start watching it because I hear it gets better as it goes along.
It does. Yeah.
Not that the first few episodes are bad. I just
They're not as good.
Yeah.
Definitely as it
Okay.
gets.
But one more thing before we move on. Are we moving on to Mandalorian now? Is that what you're doing, or
Do you have anything
What was
else
I?
to spoil about Crisis?
I cut you off before you could say what you were gonna say, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget
There's
to say
so
this.
many more Easter eggs. I just don't want to
There's
talk
there's
about
so
them.
many Easter eggs.
because-
I might just make an entire video myself.
One-
Yeah, do it.
It would take a lot of time too. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could say.
But it's a
something
little
like,
late for that, Nick.
I mean, like I could say like something exciting for me was that Lucifer was in there.
Oh yeah, he
And
was.
I love this show, and I didn't actually think he would make it.
Mhm.
I didn't
the
think
Titans were also in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Like from DC Universe, the streaming service? Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is like when Tyler spoiled the ending of Logan for me. And he's like he just assumed that I knew it because I like comic book movies. He's like yeah, at the end where I'm not gonna say what happens, but he was like, yeah, at the end when this happens, I was like, what? He was like, you didn't know that? I was like, no, I haven't seen Logan.
Now you don't have to go.
Well, I did watch Logan and I loved that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Afterwards, with the key word. Anyway, the thing I wanted to say was, because you referenced it at the beginning and then we never followed up, was the undercover boss Kylo Ren follow-up.
That's the best
the
thing
OK
on
Boomer
YouTube.
thing.
As far as I'm concerned, that's canon.
Oh,
Like,
that is canon.
That is
like, I want to make like an edit of like spoiler
Putting
alert for episode 7, I guess, if you haven't seen it, but the scene where Han Solo dies in episode 7 when he stabs him and then instead of saying thank you, he's just okay, Boomer.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's great.
Actually, you might go viral again. Make that before this video. comes out.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Another
yeah,
viral
true.
video. Put it on.
I
Put your watermark.
I
on
am
it
not
this time.
anticipating another viral video
This
ever.
one will be viral. Just do it.
Hey, talking
Because
about
viral videos are like, I don't know what the word is for them. It's
once
like
in a blue moon.
something like that. There was a term that I had in mind that I was gonna use that describes it better.
Rare.
Miracle, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's very
Hard.
rare because it was I guess because I was the first one to make the joke, even though it was a very obvious joke. I thought about the PS5 logo.
You're the first
But
one
just-
to really go out.
Yeah, but
your
just
way to do it.
it was just one of those things where the success was just completely random. So I'm not anticipating another viral video ever.
That being said, I'm pretty sure this will be a viral video, so why
I
don't you go
don't
check
know.
it out when that
I don't
comes
think you should make anything with the anticipation that it'll be
If
viral
Chris
because you're
doesn't
setting
make
yourself
it
up
in the
from
next week. I'm gonna make
you're
it.
setting yourself up from disappointment.
Hey, if you don't make it before this airs, someone else is gonna hear this. They're definitely gonna do it.
Yeah, so you have to make it now, like tonight.
Hey, it's me again. I don't think we actually gave spoiler alerts for this stuff in the podcast recording either. So, spoiler alert for pretty much everything Star Wars related ahead. We do spoil a lot of stuff in The Mandalorian Season 1, and we do kind of jump around to other bits of Star Wars story information, including some stuff from the last couple seasons of Star Wars The Clone Wars, as well as Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So, if you haven't seen that stuff and you're intending to watch it, you've been warned.
So speaking of Star Wars,
Fine.
that Mandalorian show.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking
that's
about,
a
isn't
good.
it?
We should talk about that for
That's
Yeah.
the
a while.
best Star Wars there is. After Episode 5.
So, like we said earlier, we're reviewing Season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Why not season
We're gonna
2?
do. I guess we can do general non-spoiler thoughts first, and then get into details of each episode. I don't think, like I said, I think I said this already. We're not going to go episode by episode and just talk in detail. We're just going to talk about the whole
Yeah.
show, just moments that we liked, moments that didn't work as well for us, stuff like that.
It's
Um,
like
Maybe
it's sort of episodic at some points, but it's really just like the whole thing is one, you know.
Giant movie.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, if you put all of it together, it would be like several hours long because each episode is like 45 minutes.
I love the
So-
fact that they have all the production and they have all the effect and the dedication that movies have
Yeah.
with the amount of content that shows have.
I think so. Generally speaking, overall about it, I love the show. First of all, I really like the story of it. That's like, it's sort of like it's introduced and it's at the forefront, and then in the middle of the season, like the middle few episodes, it just kind of becomes about individual stories, which is something I liked. And then the last couple episodes kind of go back to being story centric in terms of the overarching plot. I liked that because I like it being a show, even though there is going to be an overarching story. I do sort of find myself enjoying shows more when each episode also has its own little story. Like the Mandalorian's a bounty hunter, so he's still like, even though he's trying to protect the child. I guess, is that a spoiler? I mean,
No.
most people know about Baby Yoda.
People know about
It's
Baby
not a
Yoda.
Yeah.
spoiler.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
in-
that's not. I guess that's not a plot specific,
It's in
but
the back of the movie
yeah.
disc, if you will.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that anyone that's watching this show for the first time doesn't know about Baby Yoda going into it, because I didn't even know that, and I watched it like around the time it first came out, or I mean, I did know about Baby Yoda going into it, but what I was saying was,
I watched it the day it came out.
yeah, I didn't have Disney Plus when Disney Plus first came out. So,
Loser.
but yeah, I really like the overarching story, but I also like the idea that the show also has the potential for every episode to sort of be like a sort of, you know, individual bounty mission where he has run-ins with people from his past, and he like each mission has its own little complications that he has to overcome, and we get to see how he deals with different situations.
Like I said, it's kind of episodic.
Yeah,
but that's what
I prefer that to something like even though I like having a story that's kind of progressing as each episode goes along, I also like every week when an episode comes out, just being able to enjoy the contained story of that episode.
Yeah, but it's in its own way still builds on each other.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing. I love how it's kind of like the most modern take on a Star Wars like storyline, because it's still taking all of the things that all the past fans love about Star Wars, but it can you know, I'm trying to find a way to phrase this. It's appealing it to the new audience it's probably
because a lot
definitely
of people
gonna
I feel like can watch The Mandalorian that aren't typical Star Wars fans.
Yeah. But they have to find a way to balance that to all the old fans that are coming from the movies, and then all the new fans that have, you know, just download Disney Plus. They've got a show to watch. They don't normally watch Star Wars things.
Yeah. I feel like it strikes a good balance between being appealing to longtime fans while also being easy to understand for newcomers. Yeah. Like, you know, stuff about like the Empire falling, or like, you know, the child being of like Yoda's species, or like the Jawas or something like that. That sort of stuff, like stuff that we've seen before popping up, is sort of like a thing where Star Wars fans can be like, oh, that's cool that we're seeing that. But at the same time, someone that isn't familiar with Star Wars won't be confused by anything. Like they don't call attention to things that are like references.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, a person that has never seen anything Star Wars will see something or hear something a character says and be like, oh, what does that mean? You know? Like, it's easy to understand. Nick, do you have anything you want to add to what we've saying so far? You've been pretty quiet.
I'm waiting for the spoiler part.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have to really say.
Yeah.
So, I guess if we're gonna wrap up general thoughts, I really like the way the stories are told in each episode. I like that it's a little bit grittier, and like, you know, even though this says Star Wars, I feel like it's appropriate to say down to earth, I guess. It feels, because especially the sequel trilogy, you know, they were heavy on like, those movies were heavy on like spectacle and like sort of, I don't know, I guess what the word is for it. I guess just the more like mystical aspects of Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that in The Mandalorian, but I also feel like it's a little bit more like human.
Yeah.
Just because it does take place sort of in like the underground of the Star Wars world.
Yeah, we never get to we get a little bit of that, but we never get to actually be indulged into that world and live in it.
Yeah.
And see,
it kind of reminded me of like Solo. Like we got feeling.
Like the criminal underworld of the Star Wars universe.
I think they did it better than Solo though, because
I think Solo was super great. People just hated it because Han Solo didn't look like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
that's true.
People didn't like it for reasons other than that, but I also really love that movie. But I do feel like The Mandalorian, even though there are like moments that are a little bit more lighthearted, it is typically a more serious, I guess, show. It's a little bit more dramatic. It takes itself more seriously than some of the more recent Star Wars movies do. And I like that the whole show is like that, because, you know, in stuff like Clone Wars, because I've been watching Clone Wars recently, you get glimpses of that, like, you know, when they're on Coruscant and they go like into like sort of the underbelly of the city, and we get to see stuff that isn't like high society. And even though the sequels, you know, it's not like high society or anything, but it is very much like, you know, like superhumans and a lot of spectacle and like giant ship battles and everything. And even though it is very much still space fantasy in The Mandalorian, I feel like it does feel a little bit more grounded because of the smaller stakes. So I really like the whole vibe of the show in general, like in that way. The characters also, I feel like they don't bring too much attention to anyone other than the Mandalorian.
And Baby Yoda.
I feel like I feel like the supporting characters are all pretty good. You know, Baby Yoda. We're just gonna call him Baby Yoda. I said the child at first just because that's what they call him, but you know, Baby Yoda just sounds better.
He is Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not actually Baby Yoda.
The people have made him Baby Yoda.
We've spoken.
I mean, we've made everything Baby Gru, Baby Sonic.
We don't need
Baby
an
Gru.
explanation to how it makes sense. We just
call
are
everything
okay
Baby.
with him being
Fine.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah. The freaking Baby Peanut, man.
Oh my god.
They're already, like, literally they killed off the mascot and then they're selling merch of Baby Nut. It's so stupid.
Oh my
Anyway.
God.
What else was there a baby of? I feel like there was something else, but I can't.
Baby
think of it.
Sonic.
No, there was something else.
Baby Total Drama.
God.
That was before all this.
I know, but that's all I can think
Yeah.
of.
Anyway, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say for general thoughts other than
Yeah,
spoilers.
we can move into spoilers.
Yeah, so we all recommend this show if you
Go watch it.
yeah. It's got the production value of a movie, but just it's on an episodic format. It's very, very good. And you should get Disney Plus and watch it.
You just get to see more of the Star Wars universe that you don't usually get to experience. You get to like live in the universe as, you know, someone who's not fighting a galactic war all the time, having to deal with
it's people
things
dealing
like
with
that.
the ramifications of stuff like that.
Yeah.
What
would it be like to live in the Star Wars universe? You get to find out.
Yeah. All right. So I guess to continue off of that and now to get into spoilers, that was one of the things that I thought was cool in the first episode, was that, you know, this does take place after episode 6 and before episode 7. So the New Republic is still kind of establishing itself. But, you know, like there's like a part, I think like someone tries to, one of the characters, I don't remember his name, he tries to pay Mando with Empire credits. And they're like, he's like, these aren't any good anymore. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So they don't say, like, as if I remember correct, because it has been a while since I've seen episode 1 because I haven't rewatched any of them since they came out.
Yeah, me neither.
But I thought it was cool that they sort of establish where it takes place that way instead of just being like, oh, like having like a title crawl or something, some sort of text explaining everything. It's just kind of drops you into it, and it's like, okay, this is what's happening now. The Empire's gone, and there isn't, even though the New Republic is trying to establish control over the galaxy, there's still kind of disarray.
Yeah,
because people are dealing with the Empire just suddenly being gone.
Yeah, people would have a problem if they just kind of made the New Republic an established thing with when Mandalorian was there. It's like they're in a transitional phase. They have issues going on right now, and nothing is set in stone. That's how, you know, governments work.
Yeah, I loved how they like even like with the Mandalorian, they were showing how hard it is to actually make money in that like between episode 6 and 7, where there's no set in stone government at that point.
Yeah,
like the Mandalorian's like, this much money's barely gonna get me a tank of gas for my ship. I'm like, damn, I relate.
Dude, it's a struggle in all parts of the universe.
I really like that, how it like opens the show. I feel like the bookends of this season, the beginning and the end, are the strongest to me. I do really like everything in between, but the first 3 episodes and the last 2 episodes of the season, I feel like are where it really shines. Which is kind of funny because I was saying, you know, I like the episodic storytelling of the other episodes, but just sort of the fact that it was able to kick off a Star Wars story like this and be so like gripping for the beginning and then finish it off the way that it did, I feel like was really satisfying. I think it's really cool that they didn't talk about, because they could have easily, I mean, they are going to now, but they could have easily used Baby Yoda as like a marketing tool to get people to want to watch the show ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
But they made a big deal out of keeping it a secret. So, you know, it is kind of a cool thing for Star Wars fans too, because Yoda, you know, he's like at the end of episode 6, I think he's like 800 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Baby Yoda's 50.
Yeah, so they tell him, you know, Mando takes this bounty from people that are ex-Empire, Empire loyalists, and they tell him the bounty is 50 years old, and it's Baby Yoda. So, and that's where the first episode ends, is like, there's the robot that's also been sent to kill Baby Yoda. And like, you just, it's revealed what the character is. And then right from the moment when Mando shoots the robot in the head, to save Baby Yoda. I was like, oh shit, that's what this series is gonna be.
Yeah,
you know?
I was
like him, like, because the whole first episode, because you kind of see this more throughout the rest of the season, but he does kind of walk a line between being like super hard-edged and tough and being a little bit more like sympathetic, I guess.
I mean, he has a moral code that he gets to develop through the series.
Yeah.
And that's very contrasting to his Mandalorian obligations.
Yeah. But you know, from the moment in the first episode when he saves Baby Yoda, I was like, because the whole first episode, it does make him out to be like very like hard-edged, does everything like according to the code and everything. But that one moment, he doesn't even say anything. He just saves him, and then you kind of get like, oh, this series is going to be about his conflict between like what he's supposed to do and what he thinks he should do.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that dynamic of it throughout the series.
Everybody loves seeing a good guy turn bad.
So,
or no, a bad guy turn good.
You were saying how you liked like the episodic feel, and I really liked that part too.
Mm-hmm.
But like episode 1 through 4 and 7 and 8 were really good for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it was just like that one storyline inside the episode not connecting to the rest, it did kind of bother me. Like in episode 5 and 6, it may have been because there was like 30 seconds of Baby Yoda screen time. And I thought there wasn't enough.
That's how you judge the quality. Yeah.
See, I don't mind either. Like, I don't really have a preference between having, you know, more whole story driven episodes or having, like, you know, more episodic, you know, featured episodes on building specific characters.
Yeah.
It's just different areas of the world, different parts of the story that are being developed. And I liked it all.
I liked it all, but the only problem I had with the episode 5 and 6, none of those characters were brought back in the season, like, finale kind of thing.
Well, they didn't really need to be,
didn't need to.
Yeah.
But episode 1 through 4 built up all these characters to return for this, like, final battle.
Well, I don't think that the finale needed to be anything huge. I mean, it definitely was the biggest moment in the season in terms of, like, action and spectacle.
I was
like,
just like, I was wondering.
I don't think, you know, I don't think the lady that babysat Baby Yoda in one of the episodes needed to come back. I don't think like there's just certain, like, because there is going to be another season, so certain plot lines that were left sort of not unresolved, just like open, I guess.
I mean, episode 6, that entire plot line was resolved because he completely blew up that base.
Oh, yeah, and then, we'll see, that's the thing, I was like, I'm trying to think of, like, loose ends that might have...
episode 5,
but that's the thing, they are kind of all a contained thing, and, like, you know, of course, the main core of the story is Mando protecting Baby Yoda from other bounty hunters and ex-Empire and all that stuff, and I really like all that stuff, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is a show about him and his life as a bounty hunter, so I think it's cool when... Because, you know, through a lot of this dialogue and stuff, we do kind of get that he has a long history of being a bounty hunter and being a successful bounty hunter and having run-ins with a bunch of different people that kind of want him dead.
The war on Endor.
Yeah, oh, was he?
Well, because he knew that Rebel, who was also on the Endor, he was like, he'd said something or like, you haven't done that since Endor.
Oh, huh. I didn't know. I didn't catch that. I don't
We have to
think.
go watch every.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it and catch references and stuff.
That's just another like Black Widow and
Budapest.
Yeah, Budapest, yeah.
I knew what you were going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the core storyline, but I also think it's cool when we get sort of those stories that are just him like pursuing a bounty or something like that, or dealing with people that are out to get him, because that kind of not only delves a little bit more into like his history and reputation as a bounty hunter, but we get to see him do what he does best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think episode 5 was solely to prove that Boba Fett lived.
Why? Are you talking about the end scene where like
Feet.
that,
Boba Fett feet.
Yeah, we still don't know who that is, do we?
That's something that they have to.
I mean, I would assume, in the context of the rest of the season, it was probably I don't remember his name. The guy at the end of the season with who comes for Baby Yoda that has the Darksaber.
Oh.
The guy who fights in the season finale.
I think it's Boba Fett.
Because
Boba
I don't know. I feel like if they
You
were
just really want
I feel
Boba
like if they
Fett.
were teasing Boba Fett, they would have made it more obvious. You know? Especially because they don't follow up on it in any of the other episodes so far.
Maybe they just didn't have the suit ready.
They'll
have it ready by season 2.
But it's like, you know, the only reason we can assume that it's Boba Fett is because we literally have no idea.
Yeah.
And it was on Tatooine.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was on.
Yeah. See, there's certain specifics I don't remember.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep track.
I hope it's
but...
Boba Fett. That would be really cool.
If we see Boba Fett in season 2,
yeah,
we're gonna come back to this episode.
Because that would be like, you know, they're sort of bringing the characters that were brought back in the extended universe into the forefront. Like Darth Maul is like, you know, I mean, he was already back in Clone Wars, but you know, now the next season of Clone Wars is coming out with Darth Maul in it, returning from where we left him in the last thing of Clone Wars. The last season, I mean. Wait, what'd you say?
Oh, that's right.
Wait, what?
Kenobi.
The Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
I kind of forgot about that, but that is really exciting.
But then, like, you know, if Boba Fett also comes back, you know, that's sort of, I guess they sort of have to explain how Boba Fett survived, because I mean, it hasn't really been explained in anything other than like comics. I think.
Yeah,
I think it was comic books. That's how they brought Boba Fett back.
Something.
It was some sort of extended universe.
That's what
thing.
everyone thought Mandalorian was gonna be about him.
Everyone thought, like, and when it was first being like talked about, like, I think the thing was like the idea was for a Boba Fett series, and then they sort of turned it into the Mandalorian, which I think is cool, especially because again I've been watching Clone Wars, and they sort of go into the whole thing about Mandalore in conflict between being a peaceful planet and like embracing their warrior roots. So it's cool for me that we have this further along in the timeline where we do get to see, like, you know, Mando was like brought up in that warrior Mandalorian society, and they sort of went back to using this warrior's code, because in Clone Wars it's kind of like it's not really like lived by, like, even by the people that are like bounty hunters and warriors. Like, they take their masks off all the time, and just like, I don't know, they don't really follow it too closely, but it is cool to me that that's sort of what that culture turned into again after the events of Clone Wars, and then the Mandalorian is just kind of a result of that. I'm trying to think what we've talked about so far, and what do we have yet to talk about?
The series finale.
Oh yeah, so
that was exciting.
Yeah,
episode 7 and 8. That's like some of the best TV I've seen in a long time.
I just wish that Taika Waititi robot didn't die, because he was. I mean, I was like, when, because I didn't know, because Taika Waititi directed the last episode, which I knew he had directed an episode before. Well, actually, no, I didn't. He said on Twitter, I think, that he had a small part in The Mandalorian. And I didn't know whether like that meant he directed an episode or whether he was gonna star in it. And then, you know, I watched episode 1 and I heard the voice, and I was like, oh shit, that's Taika Waititi. And then, you know, I thought he was dead. And then he came back and and you know, they reprogrammed him and everything. And I was like, oh, this is like, this would be such a cool side character. And then he gets killed the episode after he comes back.
Yeah.
Who ended up living?
Everyone except him.
No, the other guy died.
The one.
The small dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Quill.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a Quill or Quail or something.
Quail.
Yeah. It's Quail.
He did. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that sucks.
He was sad.
He was like literally the least problematic character in Star Wars history. He is exclusively helpful the entire time he's on screen.
We could probably get rid of him.
Didn't deserve
Let's get rid of him.
That sucks.
Oh man.
Yeah, like literally everyone else, like literally every other. I'm just like realizing this now. Other than Baby Yoda, Mando fought with every single other one of the side characters except him. And
Baby
of course
Yoda
he's
choking the rebel girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah.
Funny.
I forgot about that.
Big funny.
See, Baby Yoda's like use of the Force was something I didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it. He has lived for 50 years.
That also makes sense why they would want him dead.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, like the ex-Empire people.
Because I mean, he'll only get stronger from this point on in his life.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that when they revealed that he was the bounty. I was like, oh, it's probably because he's Force sensitive like Yoda was. They don't want him to grow up to be another Yoda, even though that would take hundreds of years. They just want to snuff the spark of hope out. But I thought it was really cool that the characters have no idea what the Force is. Because they are sort of living in they're living in the criminal underworld of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So, there's like vague legends that get passed around, but it's not something where like, you
don't have knowledge
like
of
Baby
what's
Yoda
going
uses
on.
Yeah, exactly. Baby Yoda uses the Force to stop that one creature, and then afterwards, Mando is like, I have no idea what that was. Like, he has no idea what happened. He's not like, oh, it's the Force. He's using the Force.
Yeah.
And so the only person that actually knows what it is the Mandalorian lady who was back in the Clone Wars. So she's like, yeah, that's Jedi.
Wait, is this
the
a
one
character?
that makes the armor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
She lived. She's never dying.
Yeah.
She ran.
Oh, yeah. So she's at the point in the story we're at now, it's like she's alive, and then Kara and the other guy, the guy that was like, I don't remember his name. But he was the guy who Mando went to collect bounties before that turned on him, and then he was helping him. So they're all alive in that town, and then Mando's going off with Baby Yoda, and also apparently I gotta look up these character names. I have the freaking Wikipedia page up so I can reference this stuff, and I'm not even looking at it. Grief apparently is the other guy's name, and then the freaking bad guy with the dark saber is okay. It's Moff Gideon. That's what I thought. I thought it was Gideon, but I didn't want to say it and be completely wrong. And because my first thought when I think of the name Gideon is Little Gideon.
Yeah,
Gravity
Falls, Little Gideon.
So, yeah. But yeah, the fact that he has Moff Gideon has a freaking dark saber.
There's only one.
That's super cool. And it makes me wonder where they're gonna take what his backstory is gonna end up being in the next season, and how he's gonna play into whether he's gonna be a consistent thing going up against Mando and that sort of thing.
The Darksaber was only showed in the comics, right?
And Clone Wars.
It was in the Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The leader of Death Watch, which is like a Mandalorian group of people in the Clone Wars, he has it, and then Darth Maul takes over and steals it. Spoilers for Clone Wars, I guess.
Oops. You have to cut it again. And
I have to insert a lot of spoiler warnings into this episode. But yeah. So is there? I didn't know there was only one.
There's only one.
There is.
That's what I've read.
Okay. So it's just been passed around somehow.
Well, it was in the Jedi Temple, and then the Mandalorians wanted to take it back.
Yeah.
So they want to take it back, and then Darth Maul.
So does that mean that Moff Gideon is also possibly Mandalorian?
He is, I think, because he's the Mandalorian that rescued Mando. They said it in the 8th episode.
What?
It was in the backstory part.
I don't remember that.
He's like, I'm the one. He said his name. He's the only one that knew his
name
because he rescued him. I think that's what happened, at least.
I don't remember.
I remember him.
I remember that he knew him. I don't remember him being the one that rescued him.
I think he was the one that rescued him.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible. I don't.
You probably remember the most out of both of us.
Some of us sound like idiots.
Yeah, we don't know who
exactly
sounds like
who.
idiot, but we're gonna watch episode 8 after this.
Yeah, we gotta.
Sure.
I gotta rewatch the whole series.
Yeah.
My parents want to watch it, so I'm probably gonna rewatch the whole thing with them.
But
Yeah.
I know he said his name because he know how he got rescued, but it might be him who rescued him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they knew each other from before.
And
anyway.
but regardless, if he's Mandalorian, it makes sense that he has the dark saber because he just got his hands on it somehow.
Although if Darth Maul took it from First Watch,
that means we're gonna find out how he lose. Oh wait, no, because okay, I think
Don't the Mandalorians get it back though?
this is.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
See.
also kind of a spoiler for Clone Wars. I don't remember ever seeing Darth Maul lose it.
yeah, but I wouldn't know because I haven't seen.
But I know in the trailer for the new season he has his red lightsaber.
And in Solo, he had the lights.
And at the end of his storyline in the last season of Clone Wars, he's just kind of reined in by the Emperor again, and he's like working for him again because he couldn't beat him in a battle. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what. I have
Maybe
no idea
in the
what.
final arc
what's
of
gonna happen.
Mandalore, they'll take the Darksaber back, and Moff Gideon will have it.
I don't know.
Maybe the Empire has it, and then like the Mandalorian.
You mean the final arc of Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in
Well,
Clone
'cause
Wars they'll show it.
I think one of the final arcs of Clone Wars is the final arc of Mandalore.
Oh yeah.
That's what I read.
Well, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. I just hope that they don't forget about the fact that they need to work in the Darksaber.
If they forget about it, they'll
I
just
don't think
release
they
some
will.
extended universe
Yeah.
stuff that
Disney's
explains
been,
how
like,
it
very-
happened.
Disney's
Fine.
been very careful with everything Mandalorian, so maybe
They've
they
been
will.
careful with Star Wars canon ever since they got the property.
Oh yeah.
They've been trying to make everything fit as much as possible.
Yeah, I think they said. I read something that said they have a committee solely dedicated to making sure everything fits into canon.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome.
They're
Marvel
literally
does
just
too.
real life Star Wars historians. So
I wonder what it takes to be on that team. Like
I
you
want
need
to be on
to.
that team.
you have to be a dweeb
Yeah.
like us.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's all get
We
jobs
wouldn't
with
make
Star
it
Wars.
obviously. We forgot the names of.
Yeah, we
half
forgot
the
most of the
characters.
specifics of the season, other than just what we liked about it. I'm trying to think of things that I didn't like because I don't really have a lot of complaints. Just I think some episodes in terms of story are stronger than others. I do like each of the episodic stories, but I did think some of them were more consistently entertaining than other ones.
The ones with Baby Yoda were better.
Well,
I like that Baby Yoda isn't consistently on screen just because, like, they feel like he needs to be. Like,
He
serves his purpose in the story. And there are some moments where you're just like, oh, that's cute. But it's like, it's not so much to the point where you feel like you're like, okay, that's enough. He's never annoying, basically.
We had enough
Yeah.
Baby Yoda to get one meme template per episode. That's all we needed.
See, what I guess what I didn't like is a bit how they kind of try to implement force healing now. Like that was something they did with Baby Yoda.
Well, see, I thought it was kind of clever because when they released episode 7, which was the episode, because they kind of imply in the earlier episodes that Baby Yoda can do it, but like people don't let him do it because they don't know what he's trying to do.
Stop trying to touch me.
Yeah, but in episode 7, he actually does do it.
Yeah,
and that episode was released like a day before Rise of Skywalker came out.
Yeah,
and it's a huge thing in Rise of Skywalker too. So
that was the
going into
whole thing.
Yeah, so like, obviously not everyone that saw Rise of Skywalker watched The Mandalorian, but I thought it was funny because when she did force heal in Rise of Skywalker, which spoilers I guess for Rise of Skywalker, I don't know.
Hey, we reviewed that last week.
We should have said at the beginning of this spoilers for just all Star
No,
Wars.
you are going to say at the beginning
Yeah,
of this
you're going
all
to.
the spoilers.
I have to edit this, so I'll listen to it and figure it out. But
It's all right.
anyway,
we don't. You'll announce all the spoilers.
anyways, when Rey force heals in Rise of Skywalker for the first time, I didn't even second guess it. I was like, that's never been a thing before. I was like, oh yeah, that's like Mandalorian. It's like Baby Yoda does that in Mandalorian.
Like, oh, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
See, like I know it's clever. You obviously know what they're doing there.
Yeah.
It's just it feels a bit rushed, like because that's a concept they needed to work in right away so that the movie can have it.
Mm-hmm.
Where if that was something that like Jedi knew how to do for a while, which it's
well, I think
someone would have known how to do it.
Yeah.
Like
it was in the ancient Jedi text.
Do you think that like
Anakin
would have?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Because Rey was learning all of her Force from the ancient Jedi text. Because Leia didn't know a lot.
Yeah.
Luke was dead.
Yeah.
So where else would she get her information?
Yeah, that's true. And then they don't explain that, and I do agree with you that Force healing does seem a little bit rushed in Rise of Skywalker's context, but I feel like it makes more sense in The Mandalorian because they sort of, they do imply from the beginning, or not the beginning, but early on in the show they imply that it's a thing that Baby Yoda can do. And because they're in the setting is sort of removed from everything else that has to do with the Force, like none of the characters know about the Force, when Baby Yoda does heal, there aren't characters around to be like, oh, I never knew the Force could do that, or like, how come like people didn't know? It's just none of them even know what the Force is. So the fact that he can do that just kind of is one of the it's one of the mysteries, I guess, about him. That's the same thing with like, they didn't know how he could stop the creature, and now they also don't know how he can heal people. Yeah. So it makes more sense in the context of Mandalorian.
Like a lot of people are going back to complain, why couldn't they just tell Anakin he can heal people in the prequels?
See, that's what I was going to talk about, because I heard that.
But I think the thing was Yoda didn't want to go and teach people that you can Force heal people, because they showed in Rise of Skywalker, you're basically giving someone your life.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone's gonna die, like when Rey died, Ben gave her, like, all of his life force so she can live. So if
Padme... Yeah, I was gonna say definite spoiler alert.
Just say spoilers for all of Star Wars.
Spoilers for every Star Wars thing ever.
If Anakin was... Like, if Padme was dead, Anakin would give his entire life so Padme can live. And Yoda probably didn't want to tell him
It's probably just better to let him go to the dark side and become one of the greatest Sith leaders that there is, and let Palpatine...
Because Mace Windu wouldn't grant him the right rank of Master.
It's kind of the entire Council of Jedi's fault for not believing in him, turning him away, letting Palpatine mess with his head.
Sending him to spy on Palpatine so that they seem more suspicious.
Yeah, sure. Like, he's not gonna tell his friend Palpatine who's evil.
And also Palpatine is just very good at manipulating him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if Palpatine knew that Force healing was a Jedi thing, he would have said what he said, that it was a Sith trick.
Not, Sith trick.
Yeah, not a Jedi skill, but a Sith trick.
Sith trick.
Yeah.
It's just upsetting because Obi-Wan could have healed Qui-Gon, man.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I thought of.
Obi-Wan could have healed
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon.
About Force healing, I'm like, if Obi-Wan knew, they probably just didn't know. But I don't know.
Someone would have known.
Well, Obi-Wan was a Padawan. He couldn't, like, Qui-Gon was...
But what was Qui-Gon? Qui-Gon could have told him about it.
Qui-Gon was like, by the time they would have gotten back to the Masters, Qui-Gon was already dead.
But he could have just whispered. Heal me with the Force.
Yeah. Obi-Wan,
it's okay.
Use the Force.
It's me, Liam Neeson. You can heal me.
Yeah, I mean, Force healing as a concept, it sort of makes the rest of Star Wars canon a little bit messy, but
it's fine.
It works in Mandalorian. I feel like it doesn't negatively affect the plot of Mandalorian.
Oh, not at all.
Because
it's just the implication of it kind of like throws off the balance of the way the Force was portrayed in the things that came before it.
Yeah.
Because
but in terms of the Mandalorian as its own contained thing.
Yeah, that's just... I'm trying to find little things that I don't like.
Yeah.
That's something that, that's one of the only points where the rest of the story of Star Wars doesn't exactly, make as much sense. We would have seen it at some point before.
We probably will see it at some point before now.
When they'll do a freaking Old Republic movie and
show
Old
see
Republic.
It in the Clone Wars.
I keep seeing like rumors of Old Republic trilogy.
That would be really cool.
I want that.
You said you don't want that, or
I
you
want it.
No,
okay,
I want an Old Republic trilogy, and then I want like a after like Skywalker Saga trilogy, and then nothing else. They can stop there.
They're gonna fill in all the cracks in between, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we got Kenobi, we got
Mandalorian season 2.
Apparently, they might cancel Resistance and start like an Ahsoka. Like,
Resistance is ending.
Because
they already announced Resistance is ending.
They might be making an Ahsoka show for after episode 6 for her ending.
That'd be cool. But she's already. I don't really know what story. I guess it's sort of just what happens between the end of Clone Wars and the beginning of Rebels.
Maybe Baby Yoda to Ahsoka.
I doubt it. They seem at the end of Mandalorian. They very much seemed like there was supposed to be a very strong bond between Mando and Baby Yoda.
Maybe they give Mandalorian to Ahsoka and they have kid Baby Yoda.
What?
And it's time for Mandalorian review.
Shut up.
Please stop.
Can you just let...
I think I've said pretty much everything I have to say about the show. I don't have a lot to say about some of the specifics. The beginning and the end of the season are the strongest part for me. I like everything in between, though. I like Mandalorian. I like Mando as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I like Baby Yoda. I like the supporting cast. I like pretty much everything. I like the music too. We haven't talked about the music. I like that. I like how different it is from everything. Like, I feel like every Star Wars thing up to now, the scores have been kind of trying to replicate what John Williams did with the original Star Wars scores, and like to varying degrees of success. Like, I don't like the score of Rogue One at all.
Did you know Star Wars Rise of Skywalker was supposed to have every single like song from episodes 1 through 8?
That makes sense.
And then stuff were cut out, and I got sad.
Well, I mean, if they don't have anywhere to put it, then it doesn't make sense for the story.
Yeah.
But
they did have somewhere to put Battle of Heroes, but there was no music in that part.
I mean, Duel of the Fates.
we can
Battle of the Heroes. Yeah, no, I mean...
No, I was talking about Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
Battle of the Heroes, Duel of Fates.
Oh.
Battle of Heroes.
Yeah, it's called Battle of Heroes.
Well, Duel of the Fates is a part of that song, though.
I just love how, the names
because I just, when we were talking about that scene, because I know exactly what scene you're talking about, and we were talking about they should have put Duel of the Fates in there.
They should have put something in there.
Yeah. But, what I was saying was, I feel like, even though I like the score of Solo, I don't like the score of Rogue One, but I feel like after the Skywalker saga, every other Star Wars thing kind of, like, even like Clone Wars and stuff, I feel like a lot of the score of that kind of tries to replicate what John Williams did to varying degrees of success.
I can see why they would want to.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't, a composer comes in to take over from John Williams for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the first thing they worry about is, I don't want this to not feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel like the score of The Mandalorian is, like, I don't even want to say it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It's just different, but it fits for what The Mandalorian is, and I really like that. Like, they didn't, I don't think they even incorporate any recognizable themes from Star Wars. It's just all, I mean, as far as I remember, it's mostly original themes. And every like, all the, especially just the main theme, all the music is just fantastic. So, I don't know the composer's name.
I don't know if they may have played like a small part of the Force theme.
That's what I was going to say. When the first time Baby Yoda uses the Force, maybe they used the Force theme, but I don't remember whether they did it or not.
I'd have to rewatch it to know that.
I have to rewatch it for a lot of fill in the blank thoughts.
I should have rewatched it before this podcast, but whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm saving my rewatch for when I watch it with my parents. But anyway,
when season 2 comes out.
Yeah, which is in October, which is super cool.
Doesn't Falcon and Winter Soldier come out October?
I don't know. I don't know when any of the Marvel Disney Plus shows come out.
I think I saw a rumor where Falcon Winter Soldier is October, and then WandaVision starts December.
Well, I don't know.
I hope so.
And then isn't because Loki was in the Super Bowl.
Loki's
TV
not till
spot.
next year.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But they teased them all together, and then there was wasn't there another show that got put on hold? Didn't Hawkeye get put on hold or something?
Hawkeye did not get put on hold. There were a lot of rumors because people were making rumors because they were mad at Jeremy Renner.
Oh yeah.
But they never fired him, and they weren't going to.
Okay. All right. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, this is a review of The Mandalorian.
I mean, Disney Plus.
Okay, wait. Let's talk about the scene when those clones are shooting, or the stormtroopers shooting at the at the targets to like pass time. And they're very bad at shooting.
That whole opening scene of the last episode was so great, but it
like
made
a
me
Saturday Night Live skit.
Well, because Taika Waititi directed that episode,
I know.
so you could definitely right from the beginning. I was like, yeah, I could tell Taika Waititi directed this, but also like.
He punched Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to say. That
yeah.
intro was hilarious, but it also made me very sad when they hit Baby Yoda.
Apparently, Jon Favreau got super mad because they were punching the puppet.
Oh yeah, and they're like they could have broken it or something.
It's funny. Like, that's $1 million puppet. Stop.
I'm sure they had more than one on set. You can't film something like that and not have a backup Baby Yoda puppet. Which also, I didn't talk about that. I think it's very cool that they used a puppet.
I think it's better.
Yeah.
That's the way that any Yoda species should be portrayed.
Yeah, because Yoda in the prequels is CGI and it looks really weird, and then he's puppet in original trilogy and the sequels, and well, I mean the one sequel he's in. And that looks great, and he's like cute in that, and it just works. It just makes sense. And I know if it was CGI, I would totally like, because I didn't even think about it while I was watching the show. Like, I wasn't like, oh, that's cool that he's a puppet. It just looks, like, real in the world.
I did think you were going to talk about that more.
If it was CGI, I would have been like, oh, that's fake. Yeah. Even if it looked really good, I would have been like, oh, that's fake.
But you don't even notice it because that's how it's supposed to look.
Exactly. So, anyway. So, are we gonna do a ranking just for the whole series?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to start because I don't want anyone to take my rating.
I want to go first.
How about I go first?
Are we all going to do... Are all of our ranking systems going to be based on Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was going to say, I'll give it 800 years of Yoda old age out of...
50 years of Yoda baby age.
I don't know.
You messed this up.
I'm trying to think of a... I don't know.
I'm going to give it 10 Baby Yodas out of 1 old Yoda.
That's kind of the direction I wanted to go in, but then I did it based on years. And
shit, I should have done that math right. How old's Yoda? 800? 800 divided by 50.
I don't know.
Is 40?
Yeah, probably.
So 40 Baby Yodas out of 1 old Yoda.
Alright, I'm going to do 80 Baby Yoda Force Heals out of 2 Baby Yoda Force Jokes.
And I'll just give it 9 This Is the Ways out of I Have Spoken. So.
Is it just a full 10 out of 10 all around?
Well,
No,
I just did 9 out of 10, didn't I?
Your thing was 40 out of 1. My thing was 80 out of 2.
Okay, basically we like this show a lot.
I love it.
Everyone should watch it.
Go watch it.
I'm sorry if we spoiled the entire thing for you.
Well, I'm going to put spoiler warnings in post because
anyone
probably
watching this
I'll probably
first
just put one at the beginning, just like spoilers for Star Wars shit. Like the movies, the shows, extended universe stuff. Everything. I mean, because we can't help but talk about other stuff when we talk about Star Wars.
If there's anyone who like clicked on the timestamp for the ratings, do we make a timestamp for our overall rating?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should definitely watch this show. Like,
are we at the point that we're just a Star Wars channel?
Not yet.
I mean,
We'll
other than the last episode we put out, the last 4 episodes have all been Star Wars.
Oops.
And then I'm probably going to talk about Clone Wars when it comes out.
Okay, yeah. So we're maybe a Star Wars review.
I have to watch the entire Clone Wars before season 7.
Yeah, I was talking to Tyler about it, and he was like, we had talked like weeks before about how we were both starting our Clone Wars marathon, and then like I talked to him about it recently, and I'm like, oh yeah, you've been watching Clone Wars? He's like, I'm still on season 1. And I'm like, I'm on season 6, dude. Like, what have you been doing?
See, the thing is, after I found out the right way to watch it, I'm like, I can't be with season 1. I gotta watch season 1 through 3 all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, you skipped here, watch it.
Watch The Mandalorian.
If you have seen it already and you're just watching this through, it's good, right?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Wasn't that part?
Why don't you skip back to the beginning and we'll talk about it?
You don't want to hear about it here. You want to hear about it at the beginning.
You want to hear about it like 40 minutes ago.
Why don't you leave a comment on what you think down below The Mandalorian?
Yeah, comment, interact with us.
Yeah,
interaction.
talk to us.
Why don't you go to twitch.tv/skater799 and watch his streams and talk in the chat about The Mandalorian?
You know what? I'm gonna get the URL for my YouTube page right now. Yeah, click my link tree. Click on Chris's link tree.
This has been fun, I think.
I think this has been our best recording yet.
I don't think so.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, maybe other than the fact that we spoiled something not related to the Mandalorian like every few minutes.
I think this
every other minute we forgot something about the Mandalorian.
Been our most entertaining recording.
It's a pretty good recording, and it's definitely more concise than our last one.
Yeah, it's not one of the longest,
but it becomes longer.
Be shorter.
Every second we go on without ending.
I mean, it could be longer if we want it. I mean, we can hit 2 hours.
I think I'm gonna end this all by saying this. Goodbye. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.
I love you.
I love you more.
Say it back.
I waved at the microphone. Why did I do that?